This last week was probably the worst for Donald Trump yet, because there were so many embarrassing, incriminating stories that I don't know how he's ever going to live it down. So we learned that he blabbed and revealed classified information to Russian officials when they were here. And furthermore, we realized that he really is the man baby who we thought he was, with the world's shortest attention span, because we learned that officials have to include Donald Trump's name in as many paragraphs as possible, because that's the only way that he doesn't get distracted while reading memos, because if he sees his name is mentioned, then he wants to keep reading. He also stated that after this week, quote, "No politician in history, and I say this with great surety, has been treated worse or more unfairly." You say this with surety because I'm pretty sure JFK was shot and assassinated. I'm pretty sure that you're treated better than JFK. But I mean, who am I to judge? He's the president. He knows more than me, apparently. So this is a guy that's immature. He's narcissistic. He's a megalomaniac. And he's not fit to serve as dog catcher, let alone president. But this is the guy who is in charge of the most powerful country, both militarily and economically, in the world. And that's a really scary thought. But we learned perhaps the most troubling details about Donald Trump yet. So the New York Times explains, during a private meeting in February with the former FBI Director James B. Comey, President Trump floated a proposal that, even by the standards of a leader who routinely advertises his disdain for the news media, brought editors and reporters up short. "You should consider," Mr. Trump told Mr. Comey, "jailing journalists who publish classified information." At the February 14th meeting, Mr. Trump was fixated on a series of damaging leaks about his administration, according to one of Mr. Comey's associates, who conveyed to the Times the contents of a memo Mr. Comey wrote after the meeting. The topic led Mr. Trump to suggest that Mr. Comey consider putting reporters in prison for disseminating classified information, the associate said. Suggesting that the government should prosecute journalists for the publication of classified information is very menacing, and I think that's exactly what they intend, said Martin Barone, the Washington Post's executive editor. It's an act of intimidation. Now understand here, by specifically saying that he wants to jail journalists that release classified information, that's not too much of a deviation from his predecessors. However, by claiming that Comey should jail people that leak information about his administration, well, that's not classified information, and that is a huge departure. So the person who leaked the Comey memo, he wants to jail that individual when the Comey memo is not highly classified information at all. So he's now implying that we should jail journalists for leaking general information that he doesn't want to get out. And The Guardian reports, apparently Trump was even insisting at one point that the FBI needed to go after leaks about non-classified information, which is not a crime by anyone's standards. So this right here is authoritarianism. I mean, having a free press, that is a crucial part of democracy, regardless if you are critical of the press like I am, and if you think that they're too beholden to corporate interests. Having a free press that's disconnected from the government is absolutely crucial, and the First Amendment gives them the freedom to hold elected officials accountable, yes, including Donald Trump. And the media, they're often referred to as the fourth branch of government because they're supposed to be a check on government tyranny, on government abuse. So by sending them to jail when they reveal information about Donald Trump, that is exactly what authoritarian regimes do. And think about some of the things that he wants to jail journalists for. Anyone who leaked information about his administration. So whoever leaked the story about officials that include his name in memos, well, according to Trump, that person should be jailed. Also, the person who leaked the embarrassing information about how Donald Trump's team conducts meetings in the dark, namely because they're idiots and they can't find the light switch in the White House, should also be jailed. That person who leaked that information, which honestly is just the most banal piece of information ever, should be jailed. Donald Trump is a tyrant. He has no respect for the rule of law, nor does he have any respect for the First Amendment and how crucial it is to a thriving democracy. So this is something that should shake everyone to their core. The fact that we have someone with authoritarian tendencies that's willing to express authoritarian tendencies like this, that's really troubling. Now, thankfully, we have American political institutions that have existed since the founding of the country that prevent people like Donald Trump from taking over the country and actually turning us into a dictatorship. But nonetheless, it's still problematic. It's still troubling. It's still disgusting to know that we have someone that is such a thin-skinned narcissist that any leaks is something that should be an offense that's punishable by jail. It's unbelievable to me.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.